Who knows? That might stay in. Welcome back to Between the Takes on the Futon Sessions. I'm here with the one, the only, Kara, a.k.a. Koser.
I thought you were going to say Kara A. Koser, and I was going to tell you it's E, but you didn't say that.
I don't know your middle name to make that reference.
Do you want to know it?
Yes.
It's hyphenated. It's Elizabeth Rosalia. Do you think someone's going to take my social security now? Okay.
I don't think so.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Bring the mic closer.
Thank you so much for having me here. Seriously, you're one of my favorite people. And this, like, when we do these sessions, they're so much fun.
They are a lot of fun. Like, just the personalities that come in the room between you, your band, me, Raph, like, all of us. Like, it's always fun when we get together. Even though it's work, it doesn't feel like work because we're just having fun.
Well, I don't do any of the work, so I just stand here and sing. So
you're putting in work. I mean, look at you in those videos. Come on.
All right.
You're crazy.
That is true, and feral. So those two things are true. Oh my God, and I have this on, which is really a testament.
Live fast, eat trash.
So should I keep this on the whole time?
You can take them off. I don't care.
Should I? No one needs to know.
No one needs to know you have eyes.
No one needs to know who I am.
Definitely not in every other video. I knew this was going to be a good one as soon as we
Why?
set up
Because
the
I
time.
have tuna ready for us?
No, just so I think I talked about this with Maggie a little bit. Maggie May when she was on a couple months ago. A lot of my connections and just like the connections I have in music in Philly, a lot of it is just thanks to you. And just our friendship in general, because I'll just mention to people like, oh yeah, I do stuff with Koser. They're like, oh, you know Koser. Okay, we're cool. And it's just being friends with you is just a joy.
Stop. Wait, I just realized I lied to you. I did see your interview with Maggie because I heard this and I was so moved. I was like, that is the nicest thing you can say to someone. Like, oh yeah, because of our friendship, like it means something in blossoming friendships with other people. That's so nice.
And it's not even just like I'm saying that like I'm using you for the friendship for those connections. It's when we first met, like I didn't know anything about you and we immediately started trying to put projects together. It started with that Valerie cover in a coffee shop. That was the first time I had Raph help me with anything. Was that video. Was the first video we did together.
And I remember leaving that experience and being like, because like that point in my life, I was really starting to surround myself with professionals and people who had the same vision that I had as far as like how I wanted to make a creative mark on the world. And I remember leaving that place and being like, oh my God, I was just in a room with like 16 other people who thought and felt the same way that I did. And it made me feel like I really had like a space to exist creatively, like to be like this dream is within reach. I remember thinking that and being like, I can do this. And like, wasn't that during quarantine? Like a portion
It was towards like the end
like a piece of quarantine, right? So
I think we recorded it end of 2020.
Yeah, so during a time that it seemed like things were not available, it was then available through that experience.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that because I'm pretty sure that day I felt like it was a dumpster fire.
Really?
Yeah. That shoot was so unorganized for me.
Really?
That was one of the worst ones when it came to like the day of recording.
I want all the tea right now.
It was just, I thought I had stuff planned out, but then so many things had to change.
Okay.
Just on the fly kind of stuff that threw me off. And I can't even remember now. I just remember I was frustrated.
Okay.
But it turned out okay. And
it didn't seem like that.
Oh, I'm glad.
Do you like my Go-Gurt
I like
tuna pack?
Your Go-Gurt tuna.
Thank you. It didn't seem like that. And that was one of my first, like, I got to see you in your element and really appreciate what a professional creative that you are.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even since then, I feel like I've grown a lot and you've grown a lot.
Oh, true.
And just honestly, if anyone wants a reference, like maybe I'll put the link down below for like the Valerie video to these videos. The level of quality, the level of excellence, the level of effort that we put in is just miles and miles beyond what it was.
Also, that was a time in my life where, like, I really wasn't confident. And you know what? If we're being really real, I'm not the most confident now either. But looking back on that and remembering the feeling of like, I felt like a fraud. Like I was like, this isn't available to me to make music and make singing and songwriting and performing a career. That's not available to me. Like I'm so anxious. And I definitely was super anxious that day. So you look at that and then you look at what we just did recently. I think you can also see like that's when I had like 12 feet of hair.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I remember that. That was
So that's a good marker.
Long.
Yeah.
Oh.
Donate
really
to
nice
Wigs
hair.
for Kids whenever you can if you're interested.
Donate to the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a time. I'm glad I did that.
I'm glad we all did that because like that was the first actual just touch point we had trying to do music and anything, and I think that led to us just keep calling each other back for more because we do at least 1 or 2 videos a year at this point, or 1 or 2 sessions, or just projects. Like it's just a constant connection that we have fun.
Do you think
and
this
we're
is
actual friends?
We are actual friends. Do you think that this is ASMR with this tuna?
No, it's not as crunchy.
It's not picking it up, you don't think?
It's probably picking it up, but it's not as bad.
Well, you're welcome if it is.
If you want real ASMR crunches, go to the Mars Council interview and just look for Mason chewing on peppers.
Oh, I like chewing on peppers.
It was some crunchy peppers.
Peppers with Italian dressing is one of the best snacks available to mankind. So
Try it.
anyway,
That looks disgusting.
it's honestly so
The
good.
way you're just squirting.
Well,
it
I'm
out.
trying to be like a classy, like I'm trying to I'm just trying to like take a little bit in at a time.
Saying classy while wearing an Eagles hat isn't always synonymous.
Rude.
I'm an Eagles fan, but I'm being honest right now.
Listen, this is where we're at. 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 So,
Yeah. She built a career herself. She put it together
yeah.
with Swedish instructions.
Oh, I just dropped a piece. So, like, what are you curious about? Like,
Honestly, there is so much knowledge and information you have. Like, just I would love to know your approach when it comes to approaching venues and coordinating shows, because it seems like you've gotten yourself in some really good spaces in front of some really good crowds on platforms that other people of your level that I've seen just can't figure out how to get there.
really? Okay.
At least I think.
So,
Because you've done things like you've done Beard Fest. You were on the Tiny Desk tour last year. You have played like the Milk Boy venue, like the nice Milk Boy venue,
I
and
like
all
this.
these other places.
Keep listing my accomplishments.
City
WMMR.
Winery, WMMR,
WXPN.
WXPN, all the W's.
Okay, so what I heard you ask was like, how do I go about sort of being my own like manager and booking agent, right? Like that's what I heard.
Basically.
So here's the thing about being a musician or a band member, performer, whatever you want to call it. You are not just that role.
Right.
So I knew going into it, okay, if I want to make a financially stable and like really like soul, oh gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like something that really provokes a lot of joy for me, right? If I want this to pay me and I want to feel good about it, I know that there are other choices that I have to make that aren't just limited to performing well. So I knew that. And once the ball started rolling of like, it starts with the cold calling and the cold emailing and trying to establish a network and trying to leverage in a good way, trying to leverage other relationships like, hey, can I do this for you? I know that you have this connection here so that this goal can be achieved and also it can be mutually beneficial. So it started with that, just really just diving in, unknown waters, no idea, and just sort of collecting intel on the way and being like, okay, I'm going to store this for later. I'm going to suss this out now. And it's just been a repeat process of doing that over and over and over again. And along the way, I find things that mean something to me. So like Beard Fest, I had wanted to perform there for a while. And what was really cool about that is the year that we were asked to perform there was also my first year actually attending that festival. So it was like really, really awesome to have both those things happen at the same time. And I think stuff like that just like doesn't happen on accident. I really try and be intentional about like what it is that I'm looking for. Like, yes, in the beginning, it made sense. Yeah, we want to get our name out there and the brand out there. So like perform at all the places that are popping, that people like, that they go to, right? Like that made sense. And then as time went on, it was like, how can I be more intentional about like where I want to be, right? And like, I really like the communities in New York City. So I was like, let's see if we can, like, it started out just going there for other people's shows. And they've been like, hey, this is who I am. Love to support you, love to continue supporting you. And like the thing is like community is so important. And like I mean that. Like I like going to other local creators, local artists shows and being like, I support you and there's room for everybody at the top that wants it. So it was a mix of just like, what's that saying? Like having your boots on the ground or whatever.
Oh yeah, just being boots on the ground, like making the grunt work, getting the grunt work in to get around.
Yes. So it was like a mix of that. It was a mix of like actually like caring about the community that I'm in, right? There are 11 million of us trying to do the same thing. And yeah, just sitting back and asking myself like, okay, well, what actually means something to me? I love WMMR. Mm-hmm. I love that radio station. I love what they stand for. I love the stuff that they play. I love the content that they create. And so I reached out to them and I was like, how do I get a connection with you all? And they were like, there's this thing called Local Shots. It's like a local artist of the month. You should apply for that. And then I did. So it was like, I wouldn't have done that if like I didn't have a conversation with someone or if that wasn't something that was like super relevant to me. Now, with that being said, there's also a piece that plays a part in like, it wouldn't make sense for me to reach out to like a folk radio station, right? Like I'm not a folk artist.
It's recognizing your audience.
Yeah. So like a part of it is like exploration, part of it is community, and another part is just sitting down with yourself and being like, who am I and what do I want to do?
Yeah. Realizing what's realistic for yourself. That's something that's so important for an artist is know your music, know that you have good music, but it's not going to fit every environment. And you need to be honest with yourself to where you need to market it. Because you could be a kid that grew up in like the punk hardcore scene and you love it and you love going to shows, you love being in those dirty basements, but you're a singer-songwriter and it doesn't fit there. You can't go play those shows and it work.
Well, so yes.
Yes and no.
And
like it works
I challenge that. Yeah. That is totally valid and totally true. I challenge that just a little bit and being like, okay, things that I think are not available to me, like give it a shot anyway. So like I applied to this festival, I think Tree Forts in Michigan. And like, those are like bigger names. It's like Remy Wolf and people of the like, and like that tier of people. And yeah, I don't belong in that, right? But like, why not?
Well, see, to me, that's just level. I'm talking genre specific.
Sure.
Not like your experience level. No, go for it.
Well, genre level is funny too, because like I've been asked to do things that I thought were outside of, like people will listen to a song like Homebody and think they have like a gist of what the sound is, what the band sound is, what my sound is. Homebody just touches on a piece of like what makes Koser sound as a whole, right? So like you hear Homebody and you're like, cool R&B festival or something.
That's
and
true.
it's like,
but
That's
you as a whole is not that.
Yeah, which like I can do that and not fake it either. Like I'll pick out the originals that I have that are in that realm. But that's just a piece.
Yeah.
Like the truest piece of the sound I think is in this like rock and roll, grunge, but like there's soul and R&B and pop, and it's just funny. I was always told like you got to pick a lane, and as we've seen music like from really 2020 on, you've seen that people are like, yeah, no, so we're not actually just like picking, like we're gonna have like an idea, we're gonna have a vision that matches with our audience, but we're not sticking to this like one-stop shop. Like Billie Eilish, like, yeah, is she a pop artist? Sure. But like
She's a pop artist in the actual original term of what pop artist means, which is just popular music. Which is how
That
it should
part.
be. That's what I love from artists is I want them to feel like they can make art based on what they're in.
yeah.
And sometimes, well, everyone can make no, that's not right.
What were you about to say?
I was gonna say everyone can make everything, but that's not true. There are some artists that
but is that not true? Some of it is just probably not, it just doesn't appeal. But it doesn't mean that everyone can't do everything.
everyone can do everything. It's not necessarily going to be something that is marketable, maybe.
That makes sense to me. Yeah.
And there are times that like your songs can be for someone else. Like you could write an amazing song
Yeah.
and it just doesn't work for you. And that's when you pass it off to someone that you're like, hey, I think this song works better for you. Why don't you take this and run with it?
I'm also surprised by a lot. So Mint has like just got like 10,000 plays or something,
Hey,
which is wonderful.
that's awesome.
Which is wonderful. I'm shocked by that. I think that Gallery Wall is a much better song.
There's so many bands I've heard of where they have their album and they have their single that they're pushing and promoting like crazy. And the song that they wrote in 10 minutes in the bathroom before the recording session was over because they had time for one more song is the one that took off.
It's crazy. Before I even knew anything about what it meant to be a musician, right? You're the t-shirt salesman, you're the booker, you're the, like, as we were talking about. So I released Pants on Fire. First song I ever released, original, stepping out on the scene. I wrote it. I sat with someone and we like composed the whole thing in one night.
Wow.
One night. I put it out into the ether, didn't promote it, didn't say anything about it. And then I randomly like met someone who could do a music video for free, who was a friend of mine, who was extremely talented. Like these random pieces just fell. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And that got like 4,000 plays, but a song that I like intentionally like tried to shop to playlists and tell my friends about and be like, listen to this. Sitting at 3K. It's so fascinating to me.
It is. It's interesting what people will just pick up on. And sometimes it's not even that they're just not picking up on it. It's the algorithm, whatever it decides to be that month, the finicky little, just not
The
pushing you.
algorithm.
Yeah.
What? I was going to say a naughty word. What? Just like, what is that even? It's like, hey, let's manipulate the fact that we know. Like, let's exploit people's attention span and purposely go in trying to target the things that will like suck people into this experience, right? Oh, and if they don't respond how we want them to respond in a millisecond, next. Doesn't even like gives no one a chance to be like, let me form an opinion about this.
Yeah.
That is so crazy to me. However, I will play ball for a little bit. I'll play ball. I'm still being true to myself. I'll play ball because, like I said, there's a community of 11 million people doing the same thing. And there's definitely room for many of us to do this thing. I have friends that tour the world right now. There is no reason why I can't do that too.
Facts.
Just gotta do some of the things.
It's different paces for everybody. You're never going to get those results immediately And if you do get those results immediately, you have to be so careful with it because it can be gone in an instant.
Sure.
I saw an interview. Who was it? It might have been, what's his name? Jelly Roll?
Oh, Jelly Roll's cool.
Yeah, that big artist. He was talking about how exactly what you're talking about, those TikTok artists who are just big because of their flashy in the moment songs. He was talking about how they will pick up, go on, they will get a manager who hits them up and is like, hey, I can get you on stadium tours tomorrow. And they go there and they turn down a manager who's like, hey, let's build you up. Let's start with like 100, 200 cap rooms.
Yeah.
Build up your audience presence, build up your stage presence, build up your connection with people. And let's build you up to that point. They're like, no, I can go big. I'm going to go on the stadium tour. And then they bomb on the stadium tour and their career is dead.
Well, think about it. You are an athlete and you are about to play in a really, did you like that move or no?
So
I
funny.
liked it as well. You're an athlete and they're like, you could play for the pros, but all you've done is like middle school soccer, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like, no, we got you.
You can run fast. Play in the NFL.
Do this. We're going to put you on in, you know? You're going to play with the union. And you're like, that's great. There's something to be said about that middle piece, that journey piece that does all the things it's supposed to do.
It's the immediate gratification that we've gotten a little too accustomed to.
I'm guilty.
Yeah. No,
I'm
everyone
guilty.
is.
I don't like this timeline. I don't. But I also have to remember, like, this timeline also gave me, like, when I decided that I wanted to be a professional musician, like, I also wasn't sober. My life was completely different. And, like, now here we are, almost 7 years. Like, I have a totally new perspective that, like, can definitely handle some of the crap that goes on with the music industry. I could not do that with brain I had, 7 years ago. I just couldn't. So
that's actually something to be said about like the journey of it and the growth and everything. Because if I, like, we were just talking about the growth we've had since that Valerie video.
Yeah.
If I skipped all of that and was immediately at this level, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. Because I've got no one that I have relationships with. I have no one that I've grown relationships with. I have no connections to reach out to people to do anything in here. I needed that middle ground where, like, it sucked and I'm working part-time jobs for like 3 different people and sometimes getting to do music. But I'm putting in gigs with people. I'm hanging out with people. I'm connecting with people, becoming friends with people. And that is why this is even possible anymore, because of that middle ground.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I was sitting here. I was thinking it was fascinating that you were saying that, because I also see, like, perspectives are so funny, and imposter syndrome is also so funny, because, like, I see this space and I'm like, oh my gosh, you have all of these, like, professional pieces and lighting and gear and equipment, and, like, and I see this stuff and I'm like, oh, this is like what leveling up looks like. But you are like, well, this is a piece, but, like, you have, like, this vision. I'm assuming, by the way, correct me if I'm totally wrong. You have this vision of, like, here, wherever here decides to be.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have that for themselves. Like, I always like to, when I'm thinking about, like, growth and, like, what I want to do next in a creative journey, like, I do think of it as, like, tiers.
Yeah.
Like, in, like, turning different corners and being like, okay, well, yeah, I'm not, like, I could quantify it by saying, like, okay, well, before, again, during, like, the beginning of quarantine times was like, I would do open mics here and there, like featured artists,
Which is how we met.
Oh my gosh. Shut up. You're so right. Origin story.
Right?
Okay.
Ice cream time. Look it up.
Don't. Actually, we don't. There's thing 1 and thing 2 over there. We don't actually need to look that up.
It's a great video.
No, we're good.
It is.
Thank you.
It's one of my favorite videos.
I literally don't know why. I want to die every time I see it. Anyway, whatever. I don't even know what I was saying. Oh, but like tears.
Yes.
And also tears.
Lots of tears.
Yeah, and now like I feel like it's okay for me to say that like yeah, like okay. I was at the grocery store the other day, okay? Someone came up to me and was like, "Oh my gosh, you're Koser. I love your music." And I'm not kidding. I had a moment where I was like, "Where's the camera? What is happening?
What
This
prank is
doesn't
this?"
happen to I'm not at that tier. People
Yeah.
recognize like and I feel even like embarrassed telling you this story, but I mean it is true. And I was like so just like taken aback. But that was confirmation that I'm growing.
Yeah.
And so I was like so awkward about it. I was like
Nice.
I just was so awkward. Like
The work you've put in, like, you deserve all of it.
thank you. That's really nice and kind.
Like you are at a level like I said, whenever I mention your name, almost every artist that's come through that door with the futon sessions, I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm friends with Koser and yada yada," and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I know her." Like
That is
so
so
many of them
crazy
know
to
who
me.
you are. Like if you're in the Philly music scene, almost everyone knows who Koser is because there's like the Rec Philly scene and the Amuse scene and like all these other things. You have been a key point in all of those at some time to where everyone has at least heard of Koser. They don't necessarily know Koser, but they've heard of Koser.
I'll be really real. My ego definitely needed this today. So thank you. And I can't wait until you all see. Am I allowed to like talk to the?
Yeah.
I can't wait till you all see the stuff that's upcoming between the two of us.
Yes.
You could provide a link to all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. I'll try and... I always say I'll retroactively link, but half the time I forget to come back, but I'll try and remember.
It's fine. I'm like, I feel really, thank you for this.
Yeah.
And today, I feel like really motivated
Good.
to continue, which is like, I don't think, I'm going to talk to them again. If you have a person in your life that is a musician, a creative, whatever, like pump them up a little bit. Because it is hard out here not having like solid foundation sometimes. So yeah, if you have a person in your life, a loved one, whoever, who is a musician, a vocalist, a filmmaker, editor, whatever, something that's like that you need a 9 to 5, okay, to support your 5 to 9. If you know someone like that, pump them up. Just give them a little like, I see you, and you're killing it. Like, because I think that's what this provided for me today.
Good.
I really do.
I wanted it to.
I really do.
Not the tuna crap.
Can you smell it?
A little bit.
Dude,
I don't like how you looked at me while you were like squeezing it out.
it's my Go-Gurt. I can't believe I
meat
did this
tube.
with sunglasses on the whole time.
Meat pack.
I just felt like I just wanted to be like SZA does it. I just wanted to be like her.
Don't be like her.
Dress-
Be like you.
Whatever. I want to be like her. Dress. What's the quote? Dress for the part. Dress for the job you want.
Dress for
I
the
don't
job
even
you-
think
okay.
that applies with my opossum shirt on, but
Your job is being you. That's the job you want, and that is you sometimes.
and you know what else that they don't know is that you and I had a conversation recently about like that I want to tap into things because we're friends and I can have these conversations with you that I want to tap into more like of what's authentically me. And I feel like I am doing that now. So thank you for your support in those endeavors.
I'm glad I can help. But yeah, Koser, Lightning Bug, and is it? What's the actual title? Is it Anthony's Song or Moving Out? I think it's Anthony's Song parentheses Moving Out.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had to look it up when I was making the title
Yeah.
for the video. But check those out. Those were out at the point of this release. They were out last week. And yeah, check them out. They turned out great. Really proud of what we've made. Some other special stuff coming out with Koser, but that's going to be like the Top Mount production side, not the Futon session side.
Yeah.
Also, do you have anything that you want to let them know about? Any special releases? Anything coming up for Koser?
Here's what you do. You go to kosermusic.com. Okay. You do that, and then you just find out all the info. That's all.
Ooh, that's perfect. That's
That's
perfect.
all. That's
Links
all.
will be down below. You can find it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Kara, Koser, whatever it is you want to be. Thank you again for coming by. Thank you for all the years of friendship, all the years of friendship to come, all the projects we've knocked out together, and I'm excited for all the projects we've got, even just this year coming up and beyond.
And I'm singing at your wedding, probably.
There is that. There is that. Hopefully not that flat, but yeah.
What if I sang like that? Probably. Yeah. I thought you were burping.
Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, check out her videos. Links will be down in the description. Thank you so much. Please leave a like and comment. Leave any questions for her about the tuna. Until next time.
No, I got you. Anything you want to know, okay? I got you. Protein, hey.